Anyway, I'm going to draw more about the big agenda. You made so brasso say you didn't come on and never didn't come on. Afa a year senior high school and Koda IB school Kosuku na conference of heads of assisted schools. Ede abetu bia say awofo betumi amoma na besuku a momwa wo mom panuane provisions kakra mfa mo mo na omoba wo manya bibia di amom ho aba omo ede asoso aban de kakra bi na ewo ho no so sanse omafo beka ya ansa na school very open no CHASS for ekole on GS nke betumi anko mom postpone na aban hwe na sikasem bi a ate akamu ade ahokere aba school mpanimfo ni school ahodo no so fedidie afem no anka omo enye hu bibi nso GS mfi ena omo course o ma school ni biye eka no nti no ahokere kakra wo school ahodo no so pa na say be ka kire wo fo se oba na eba ompa aduane enwune nakamu mfamra de asemu mu duro free senior high school no ho asem no say nakosie enwe ne se akoduru se afi yentimi mankwara na aduane ni anase ho asem te se na sankomo ne behwe di abia ni yie anwumre na wo yo wo fo so a wo so ahunu se de wo da wo ho so afa na se wo boa wo ho e de ama oba no na Primus Barrow General Secretary e de ma Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools Assisted Secondary Schools CHASS wo mo General Secretary no Yera Primus ni twi no emu nhyada na ho so obekeka afra brofo no kakrakra ye de nkomo Primus, good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
Na apono mu te saying
Pache yo
yeda otwede ampunyankopon ase na se CHASS for mo serve notice se awofo empe bibi kakra nuane kakra mfa mo mma no mra esuku normal provisions a SS ni akola bia on a normal day di beba ana say this time around na bia bankukura yenka na yenye abomu bia ya chimu acha ebi esi etwobos mu a enhye danse na omfa nka omunema ho mfamra mo pa kire se yankasa epese wo chiri magana 40.
Okay, good evening once again, Nana. Let's say yanka in English, then after you do the translation, because I'm not too articulate in the tweet.
All right, so, all right.
You do a little bit of tweet, the English, then you translate in the tweet for the listeners.
No problem, yeah, flow.
But I'm glad you've come our way again to give us the opportunity to let the parents know exactly the situation on the ground. Yes, this morning we in interacting with some of the media houses, we did indicate that parents could now allow their children to come to school. That is not to suggest that the situation has been solved entirely. What has happened is that as at Friday up to today, a lot of schools have been given some food items differently. Some have been given, if you look at the situation across the country, free, Upper West, Echo, free northern side, no Echo, Middle Belt, Southern Belt, the situation is different from one region to the other. Some have got some amount of food, good enough. Some have got average supplies. Some still have very, very bad supplies. But the truth is that almost every school, not every school, almost every school has gotten something. Now, you take a place like Upper West. The situation is not too good. Upper is the same thing because only rice have been supplied to schools in these areas. You go to Middle Belt, the situation is a little bit better because apart from rice, they have some foodstuffs, even though they also lack some essential ones. Then, so you come to a place like Upper West, apart from, like I said, no rice, there is rice, no millet, no corn, nothing. It's just the rice. And almost across the country, of course, there's no school. There's over 90% of the schools do not have basic things. Important things like, oil. So the situation is not the best. But as what has been happening for some time now, we have asked we cannot continue shutting down the schools or asking children not to come. That's why we're asking the government to just give us some 1 week extra so that they could bring these little supplies while we are managing. Then the Ghana Education Service will mobilize and bring in the remaining. As I talk today, we have sent in a letter to the Director General of the Ghana Education Service telling him that the situation is still not as good as it has not even gotten to average. It's still dire. In fact, in the next 1 week, if nothing happens, some of the schools will return to zero. supply.
All right.
So
All right.
So on those basis, we said, oh, parents can let them come, hoping that they will manage and then send some food to schools.
So Mr. Barrow, let me try and translate what you just said, and
Yes,
we move on. Enti asema openino eka nyina ne se ahoboa a wose schools no eye nnuane a wose omo nsaka omo de besom kwada no ansa na school abie no dodo na no ebeka se omo nsankan bia kakra sope bi ene bi ensaka na mantam ni nyina de enya de kro ba bi wo no manya kakra ba bi wo so a ketua bi a wode bibie enyi ba bi wo no ma mo keke anwakora bi nka ho ene ho nkomo na omo ne Ghana Education Service DS nka omo ntwe ebre na omo di bie school no mbese na awotwe nanka amomo bo omo ho yie se be ya akade no nnuane no omo nsa be ka ne nkoda ne ba ekom ene ahokyera nkwa akobam so entiase na anya adwuma ne aba bedu sam pempenso enti sese pempenso ayegina no omo ntimi nkase ye still emu odin I hope I explained it well.
That is it.
All right. If you could help us, ye kase school and reopen anka basic and neoma na basic required full staff and kabia any ordinary school be here no den what am?
Look, you will need the staple, the cereals. You will need rice. You will need maize. You will need the millet. You will need beans to go with. But we say that at least if you do not have, it's possible. And in fact, it's a long time, all the schools across the country, we have had full supply of all these items.
Okay.
I cannot remember the last time. But at least if you have 3 of these, the cereals, something like maize, rice, then beans, then you can manage the system. And then also you go to the suicide, things like, you cannot afford not to have things like, what do you call it, oil, tomato. So there are there are about 17 food items, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But if you have more than half of these, you can always manage the system. But we lack these things total. Like I said, some of the regions, apart from rice, they don't have any other. So it means that you are going to take rice water in the morning, rice in the afternoon, and then some rice again in the evening. And so if I'm not lucky, if we have even, a good number of bags of rice, because it's only rice, instead of using that rice for about a month, you end up using it for about a week.
Okay.
And that's the challenge we have. Yes.
All right. So how was the situation like before vacation?
That was precisely what the situation was like before vacation.
Okay.
And in fact, we had a meeting about, I think on the 17th, the schools went on the Xmas break on the 19th. On the 17th, we had a meeting with the minister and the director general. And we made this very clear and pleaded with them that they should even allow us to even go around the 18th, just a day before the Christmas break, so that they could start mobilizing. Unfortunately, we were forced to go back. We were forced to keep up till the 19th. And some schools, for 2 days, they didn't feed their children. Some had to actually even ask the children to go home because there was nothing. And unfortunately, those things were never mobilized during the Christmas break. And we have come to meet the same situation. In fact, as I talk in Upper West, I can tell you that even Upper West, I said we got rice. Some of the schools after today have not even gotten a single bag of rice. So that's how serious the situation is.
So as a parent, if I'm seeing my ward off to school, what do you prescribe? What do you suggest I do in preparation so that when he or her comes, maybe he can survive?
Yes, so as captured in some of your media houses, you have seen it. Our only advice is that, in fact, this one should not have been because of the situation, but because specifically of this situation, my dear parents, if you are sending your child to school, whatever you can give your child to go and be able to survive on school, please do. Support the child. We all know what school things are. I mean, things like Gary. Things that we're not asking parents to prepare some, and we see it. Some parents bring same banku, they prepare banku and rice for their children to school. In the first place, that one cannot last. Secondly, it will spoil. And when they eat it like that without heating it, it can create health problems.
Sure.
So we're not talking about cooked food.
All right.
So, but things like gari, things like sardine, anything that the parents, can send to the child to be able to supplement. Even where they have food, they still need a supplementary, food. So we encourage parents to support their children with some food in their child.
All right. So, Mr. Barrow, I'll come back to you so that we talk about the fact that the free SHS review issue should be looked at again, so that maybe some parents will be advised to pay or something. But my young Irene Sam on the Kasama former Parent Teachers Association Council PTA Council Mami Irene Boko there. Hello Irene Boko there.
Me pacho boko so nya boko sa
na je se wo hunu baby anko no free ni baby e kwakwa sie nyina de CHASS for ken sa wofo emwa wo mo ho emfanta wo ma na chinya wo mo kwamre school na school ho de meka se omote epeso ka so bi ti peso ese baby wo ne ho awea ne sa aduane ho asem no ne ho nkeka ho no mo ate mo hunu na de na mo kan fa ho
yo menua me da se na mefa kwenye so edinchi akese ama Adom wo Adom TV ni Adom FM 84 ni ahefo nyina na ya da mo ate so e wa bibia nkomo amoni yedi efa ehumesua ho na sama CHASS for kan ye no kre de tie ni se wo be kaya ansa na school baby e kra no na CHASS for a omuso wo ye aye ti no teacher for no mo kan ye kuo no ho almost some ya wo former yamba no schools na almost yamba no so maye no omo di betu dwa se ediane ho nsam ese da nye papa sa ina nsuo ni kamia ni sika nka ban de be mo amom di ahwe dia mesam ni ade no enhu akwakokem nti ke be yanka ministry ni hwe na nka ye nhwe se akwa ebe bie nka ye bi ntite nka ye ma mo make kra na nka sa oho ni na no omo ntiesie by no so na ministry no anti asiesa omo so gwa no enko school inti no kreso nkwa no bebre na yamba no eco schools no mu na de yenso ye na se council no se yenso yetu ye hu schools bebre mu a ye ko hu se na eduane hu stem na mpa no na ebi enhye da enu so the schools den na ebi ni hokra ebi so de o ha ebi wo ha eno so kra no nya de anka ebe so feeding from kora no inti ye hu se so ha we de ye ha wa eba ankasa anasa aba beto yen inti yen as a council de na ye kan ni say nka CHASS for edit asem tu dwa no na yen so ye say e beko schools ne mu no CHASS for ni bi mo ante ya say de nti a ye ka say ye ko schools na ko be de ye ko na nka ye ni omo heads ni kitchen staff ni bi edi nkomo no na ye omo say bi a ye ba be ye bibi I don't know aduana omo dwene but itimupa ye sa de ni say nka ye kwa ko hu ha na nka ha bi o bia no PTA san come ntas na nka ya boa aso ha na no enu nti na ye buta ya nka ye ma ye nkofo no so mun ko schools nko ready ye koso enye se bia ye kwa ko ye bibia ko gu obi hu fia na bibi da bi because it CHASS for kan hu say ye mba na wo school ho no nti de kwa ebe nyina no e fa ye papa omudi de bibia afa ye ho ti se ye se ye ko stop ready ye koso a ye pesi ye hu mbo e betim dia abo wani minim ya
okay
ansana aban no so bi omudi aden aba be ka ho
all right enti say no mo awofo no de na mbetima ye de abo situation no
yo say de betima ye de abo no say make us say no some of the schools no PTA sia come sabu ma omodi asenya ma ense de ni ho no omba buwa school no kakra na afa so ya san so no ya wa open the be na so akasa say nkura na be school omodi ase sika kakra de yen fama omo na nka canteen bebre a omo wo schools ahoro mu no na nka omo fanto de nka kakra enfanka dia ombenya akwa ne de schools bebre na ni aduane ina ebisu wo bi nti ani a wo fo no akasa se omo be omo bomodi asa omo bebo abomo na no kra so ne say dodo na so report that day no from the third dodo na nkora bebre na nko school
okay
that third no nti ende na dodo na no akwa akodu school ma omo akodu school se si am no say
enti Mami Irene o feel say san komo about ye review free SHS na o fo ebetime tu school fees no nkeka ho try ba ban so no nkeka ho no e bra so say yes aka so mo ho
ni ampacho e bra so kra ma na twem esa se ye da ye CHASS ye ka sa asem a cheye pa na ye ka na akwa akoye amanyosam ba yen so as a council ye nya amanyosam yen de be atenda ho na ye de asem no to
okay
nti san komo no de emra so say ye be di sanko na ban hwe baby obetimi ayi ne baby ofo say ye awofo ye be so na the education there a shared responsibility yet ba akofo enso how nyina wa humafia ho
all right me da se bebre ma yenko na yemi ahomatofo ni ntwum na awofo nkaye wo fie a omo no I encounter ye current situation no ede ho report abre omo ne de omo so ahunu omo ne yenhye wo ye wofo anu afrempacho oba unua bia ni secondary school amen ha ho me frame me disturb ye time ni so 03022211 701221702221703 wo ye wofo a wonim de ekoso yi emu enchiremu bi ana so se bibi ho no ma wo se ye ebinum so kra wa adwen bi se headmasters no ne ade no free SHS no ba ye no ho akire wo mo munya kwa nkodwom ne ade no madidwa ade bia kofie nti no wo so wokwa bia wo fa so sabotage system no whichever way wo hunu situation then now for say e betima ye dia remedy situation na ye ka ho asem sisi a wo senior high school sahodo san say baby a ye nwomasuem no ho hia yie papa intentimi fa ngora topre wo betimi afre na oba 03022211 701221702 2210703 na fe ye ne wo edi nkomo ye osima ba mi nupe ai betime ene watwe nkomo ntu batew mame hwese menya ofrefo di kan wa homa no so hello me ba cho hwana mene ka say
me ba cho ye frame Felix Frimpon
Felix mame ntie we wo ka say free
me ka say free sakra bia ho school na de na mpese me ka kakra free HHS news ai ediandie ni akeka ho in fact helper bre na media imagine chiram pese me chere se betumi a anka aban no omo a teacher for nti omo school fees yi na pay school atare mankora no onti omo school fees ma won pay busu a betumi die sua die yi na aduane ankora ne bedidie fama awofo na yentia isi se me bawo secondary school ka me bono se me tio school fees kra kan fa so enti me mo margin chere no
okay
se review
me da se
mo yentia di second because nipa
me da se mama fa for hello
but good
evening but one am ne ka say
nana se mpacho be and from takwade
ba so mama ntio
Yankupon Shroud near my online Ghana.
Okay.
In fact, you make you back your last one and your last one. In fact, who try and I'm to know, Indian will try the Amen China, but man in good school. In the year SHS 2019, in fact, Nami decision to my family. Name and there, yes, a free SHS, no, make sure a kaya over 10,000 Ghana to this class.
All right.
When you know,
unfortunately, a time now soon. Let's just say the discussion for review of free SHS. I was said you so just yes, you need din common years. I was buying a fakani in idea. Nenye on monohoso, no pesicani ye, no fanfa honkan. Won't to miss one on kind of creno. Now our phone and more muscle bebo. If I'm not say for J. Yami had much never say shall big agenda soon.